In April, Tennessee passed a law allowing school employees to carry guns on school property. That's if they pass a background check and receive mental health clearance permits, 40 hours of training and written authorization. We wondered how many states allow this and how the policies work in practice. Tonight, some answers. At the start of the school year, 9 states allowed school employees to carry firearms on school grounds if approved by an authority, such as the school board or superintendent. 18 additional states allow people with permission from school authorities to carry firearms at K through 12 schools. Since the 2023 school year began, at least 6 states have updated laws on who can bring guns to schools. Rules on training, licensing, and which schools and employees qualify differ across the combined 30 states. CBS News reporter Haley Ott has been digging into these policies. Haley, it's good to have you here. What is the genesis, first of all, for these policies to have teachers instead of, security officials or cops?
So that was my first question. Why not have the police handle issues of security like this? So I reached out to a man named Joe Eaton, who helps run a training program for teachers across the country and school staff to teach them how to handle firearms in the case of a school shooting. And he said that the general idea is to try to address the amount of time between when a shooting might begin and when somebody who's armed can arrive on the scene and intervene. So here's what he said.
How long are you willing to wait for help to get there tells you how many dead or injured you're saying is acceptable in your schools. And the schools are saying, I want that number to be as small as possible. So first thing you've got to do is, number one, stop the killing as soon as possible. And that means having trained people there in the buildings at the point of violence to stop that killing as soon as possible. And then secondly, and just as important, you've got to stop the dying as soon as the killing is stopped.
So what he meant by stop the dying was also start doing first aid, which is included in these trainings. Now, there's a lot of talk about whether a training like this for civilians, for teachers, for staff would be enough to give them the tools they need to intervene in a situation like this. In Tennessee, for example, that's 40 hours that's required under this new law. There are critics, including some law enforcement officers, who say that that's just simply not enough to respond to a situation that's as complex as this. So I asked Joe, does this work? Yeah. And he said he thinks so, but actually there isn't really data to say either way.
So if we were asking about effectiveness, we don't know.
Right. So I said, wait, what? And called a bunch of people, academics, researchers, and they said the same thing. There just isn't the data to support a conclusion either way. One expert, Jacqueline Schildkraut, who researches gun violence at the Rockefeller Institute of Government, said that none of the shootings in K through 12 schools that have occurred in this country have been stopped by an armed civilian, a teacher or a member of staff at school. She said there have been cases of people who have tackled a shooter or who have talked them down, but those are the cases that she could think of civilians getting involved. Another researcher, Sonali Rajan at Columbia, said, not only do we not really have data to say whether this works either way, there also could be secondary unintended consequences that we also don't know about from instituting a policy like this. Both of them said that there were things that academics and researchers did know contributed to reducing instances of school shootings. Some of those include well-run tip lines and secure storage laws or practices so that some of these guns don't get into the hands of shooters in the first place.
Haley Ott, it's great stuff. Thank you.